I have no clue if Verlisify is watching this, but if he is, then let me introduce myself and ask that you watch until the end. Hi, I am Snek. My main content revolves around responses typically to SJW videos and articles. My secondary content revolves around Pokemon and whatever else I feel like, but honestly, there isn't as much of that content compared to the SJW stuff. I do prefer breeding Pokemon and raising them legitimately, but I use Power Save to make some shiny. I don't compete in anything official, but if I did, I would not bring anything I power saved. Plain and simple. I'm just gonna be clear here. I am not a fan of his. I also am not a hater. I am not on the Verlisify sucks bandwagon, though I'll be honest, and I have called him he who should not be named to compare how the rest of the Pokemon community looks at him. And I have nothing against his fanbase. I've had some nice conversations with some of them in the past, actually. I did make a video in the past about some drama Verlis and Yellowbox VGC had a while back where I attempted to play devil's advocate and mostly take his side. In that video, I stated that I didn't like him. I didn't mean I hate him on a personal level, but I don't like a couple of things about how he portrays his opinions. It just rubs me the wrong way. Also, I just find the whole thing about Verlisify refusing to battle a kid with cancer ordeal to be a bit of a jerk move. I also pointed out in that video that, for the most part, he didn't have solid rebuttals to the videos done last year by Hoodlumscrafty and Duncan Knee Deep. I recently rewatched the whole situation just to make sure, but I still stand by that opinion. For the most part, he could only successfully defend the parts on his Twitter conversation where they thought Verlis said he was okay with using hacks and on the fair use thing about their logos. To me, everything else fell apart in his argument and how he defended himself. He could not convince me nor a fairly large part of the community that they were lying about everything else. It's just an opinion comparing them and his reactions, so take it as it is. But now that I'm done introducing myself and being completely out in the open on my opinions, let's get down to business. I'll be honest, I was really tempted to just let that song go. I just wanted to let it go, let it go. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, Verlisify live-streamed for nearly 3 hours on addressing his haters and tried to debunk them. I will not address the whole thing because that would be ridiculous and this video would be almost as long, if not longer, than that livestream. Instead, I'm only going to focus on a few moments throughout it. My reasoning behind this video is that I actually want to make an attempt at legitimate constructive criticism. My goal is not to convince him or his fans on my thoughts on hacking Pokemon, but I may say something on my opinions because this is coming from someone who is not a Verlisify fan, but someone who sees and understands the hate, and I'll do my best to explain it for everyone. To snake-splain, if you will. So let's get started.
So we have this video from Sargon of Akkad. I watched Sargon, I tweeted out, I tweet all kinds of things. I did a pretty good comment that got a reasonable amount of, support from his fan base and whatnot. But no matter what video I comment on, no matter where I go on YouTube, there's always going to be people that leave negative comments. Then I go and comment on a random video that has nothing to do with Pokemon community, nothing to do with gaming, and I'm being well received in that community. But this right here. Now, I don't understand this one, because that's an easy one to disprove right there. I start for no reason, other than getting views. Because the haters have created this straw man of me. They've created this vision of me that's only from lies, misinformation, and just being ignorant to anything that's going on with my channel. That I genuinely disagree with hacking. I think cheating is wrong in Pokemon. So that means I'm literally not making videos just for the views in that situation. I'm making the video because I stand behind what I say.
Well, I'd first like to point out that it looks like we may have some common political ideals. Honestly, I am surprised by that, and it's a bit refreshing to see. As for the people commenting general hate like that, it may be best to either joke with them or ignore them. Sometimes self-deprecating humor helps to diffuse a situation. As with your opinions on hacking and whatnot, I personally don't have a problem with them. But like I stated earlier, it's how you say your opinions. When you say things like...
And also think about it. Pokemon, awesome, happy-go-lucky, whimsical children's game, and you have to cheat in it. You are disgusting. I'm not even kidding. You're a disgusting person if you have to cheat in a Pokemon game to be better than other kids.
If your life is so freaking pathetic and you're such a salty douchebag that this is how you get enjoyment out of day by either... he's probably not wasting his time. He's probably, browsing porn or something, so at least he's getting his rocks off.
It sounds like you're being elitist. It sounds like you're saying your opinion is superior to those who are committing the abominable act of hacking. From what I've seen on forums and other videos, that could be a reason behind the general hatred within the Pokemon community. Now what's interesting is that you also said this back in 2015.
Now here's where the serious argument kind of comes into play. So first off, I'm going to say, I don't hate you if you use an action replay or power save or cheating in Pokemon. I really have the disdain for the people that don't accept it as cheating. Now the way I see it is, if you understand that you're a cheater, that you're understanding that you're using methods to create a not legit Pokemon to gain an advantage in game, at least you're understanding that.
So did your opinion change and you take back the statement? Kinda seems that way, especially since later in the same video you say this.
Hopefully this just gets better and better, that more people get banned. I want to see people banned. I want to see people be able to not even go into Wi-Fi with their game, that they can't even connect to the internet because they had cheated devices, which means they can't battle friends or something if they're not immediate. Just banning them from playing Pokemon. I think that's completely fair.
And you drive this point on in other videos over the next 2 years.
But just really proving that you are not allowed to hack the game. The Pokemon Company does not want you cheating, modifying, or doing anything that tampers the game. No hacking whatsoever. If you get caught doing it, you lose the rights to your online functionality. Your game is pretty much bricked on the Wi-Fi, and they can do that because you're not allowed to break the rules. You're not allowed to do anything that you want with your game.
To the casual player who just wants to have fun, who knows this is cheating but still just wants to have fun with a game, this sounds like you hate them without even knowing them. Now, I'm not defending the empty hate comments from trolls. I'm not defending those who only post things such as you suck, you're wrong, or kill yourself, because those are just empty hate. I'm just saying that those who only want to have fun with the game in the way they see fit should be allowed to without the feeling of someone raging against them. That's all.
And then I blamed Smogon when my girlfriend broke up with me because she literally said that was a reason. Now, it's not the only reason, it's not the biggest reason, but it is a reason, it is a part of it, and she told me this.
Yeah, that part is on you there. You gave the community a reason to make fun of you. Now, the full reasons behind the breakup are your personal business, but the fact remains that you said it. Accurate or not, people are gonna use it. It's up to you whether to roll with it or ignore it.
Evidence for something being broken doesn't work. Slurpuff counters Mega Kangaskhan. Oh, that's another good one. I never said Slurpuff counters Mega Kangaskhan. And I did, but that was because... And I explained this. And my idea of a counter is different than Smogon's. And Smogon has this made-up vocabulary. Every definition is unofficial and only applies to their community. So my idea of a counter was actually their idea of a check. And I said, Slurpuff counters Mega Kangaskhan, but it actually checks Mega Kangaskhan, and that's because you can run it with a Con Guard, and then Mega Kangaskhan has, no damage against it. I ran the damage calculations before and during that stream, and it checked out. And then when he said counter is X, I said, I don't do the Smogon definitions, and I even during that stream changed my idea of counter to check for his purpose of talking and whatnot, so I never committed to Slurpuff counters Kangaskhan, because my idea of counter, at the time, from other communities, is a check, because Smogon makes things up.
I actually use a Slurpuff with Belly Drum and Cotton Guard. Yes, it's bred legally, and no, it's not shiny, so I never touched it with power saves. It gets the job done, but I prefer a Azumarill or Mimikyu to be honest. But when you're making a video for making a Pokemon for battling, it's best to use the most popular terminology whether or not you use it in regular conversations. Smogon is the most popular fan-made battling community, so it's best to use their language to avoid confusion, much like a person uses a different language from their native one to communicate to others in another country.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Duncan Edie started a lie that I'm banned, or I'm blacklisted by the Pokemon Company, which is causing other people to not work with me. He started that lie to slander me, and he has something against me. He has a mad amount of envy. He wants to see my channel destroyed. He lied. He said I claimed I won first place at Nationals, when I've never made a claim like that.
I looked to see if I can find anything on the whole blacklisting thing, and I couldn't come up with anything, so I won't comment on that, but when it comes to this...
He lied. He said I claimed I won first place at Nationals, when I've never made a claim like that. And this Snorlax is my hero. He is what has made me win all the tournaments I've played in. He is unstoppable.
It sounds like you did say that you won everything you participated in. I get it, the full video says you used this at a VGC Regionals, not Nationals. However...
Then there's the claims that he went undefeated at a regional, back in the day, when he didn't only not go undefeated, he went negative.
I don't remember Duncan mentioning Nationals. Now, if you have evidence otherwise, please message me on Twitter with it because I'm fine if I'm wrong so long as concrete evidence is supplied. But Duncan mentioned Regionals, not Nationals. And just so you know, I'm aware of the unlisted video Duncan made. Here's the part about the tournament in question.
He is a liar. He said he went undefeated at, I think it was regionals, it might have even been nationals with a certain Pokemon team, and then people who were there were like, no, he lost repeatedly. Now, he may have lost due to timeouts or whatever. It doesn't matter how you lose. If you lose, you've lost.
He said at that time, he didn't remember for sure. It may have been a regionals or even nationals. In his and Hoodlum Scrafty's first video, he clarifies it's regionals. The same regionals you mentioned in this video in question was caught in saying this.
Hey guys, Verlis here, and this is pretty much a breakdown of one of the strategies I used to really just dominate one of the regionals that was local. And this Snorlax is my hero. He is what has made me win all the tournaments I've played in. He is unstoppable.
And later in the same video, you said this.
Now it's over. There's nothing you can do here except for one thing, and this was the one flaw at regionals that I'm trying to figure out how to get over. Timeouts. I think it was only 10 minutes per round for my regionals, or maybe 15. But as you can see, the strategy takes a bit to set up, and if people are like playing a really heavy protect game or just trying to dance around some other shenanigans like I am, it can counter me out pretty well, but that's not fair. Like, the only way you can win is if you take a minute and a half to choose a move. And a lot of people were, so I was calling over judges, and the judges didn't know how to handle the situation. They didn't do anything to progress the game flow. And that's the only reason why I lost 2 battles, but I still had a Dunsparce Snorlax combo against 2 or 3 Pokemon.
Just explain to me what you were trying to do when this happened.
Duncan didn't lie. When Nationals was mentioned, he wasn't sure at that time. In a video made at a later date, he clarified it was regionals he was referring to. If what you said in an old video was just a slip of the tongue, that's fine. If you truly believe it was a legit timer stall and the judges were wrong, that's your opinion, but at the end of the day, what the judge says is final. Right call or wrong call, it's final. And sticking to your guns on this whole thing does make it seem like you're defending a false statement you seemingly made in the eyes of the community. If you don't believe my explanation, okay, that's fine. But that's how it looks to others, and that's how I see it.
It restricts building. We see this in OU. That they say, I don't want to use something from UU. I don't want to use something from RU. I don't want to use this Pokemon in a lower tier to stop this Pokemon that's now dominating OU. And that's why the tier mentality is bad, because people refuse to see Pokemon lower tiers as good in any way. My thought is, all Pokemon have potential. All Pokemon can be good in some way.
Even Skitty? I mean, the only thing I can think of Skitty being good at is being one half of the weirdest breeding pair ever. There is toxicity in that community, just like there's toxicity in every single community ever, but I don't start fights in there. I don't say that metagame or that community is bad for regulating their own format in the way they do. They're allowed to have tiers. They're allowed to slam the ban hammer on Pokemon within their meta. Trolls do what they do everywhere on the internet. It's unavoidable. But the reactions you have to the haters define how most people see you. And you went on tirades and returned the troll hatred tenfold and doubled down on your opinions, proclaiming them to be true. Like I said from the beginning, it's your attitude that defines who you are to the average Pokemon player. I'm not saying it in hate. I'm saying it to make a simple attempt to explain the other side.
Like, I'm very understanding. I still want to work with a lot of people in the PokeTubing community, even if they hate me. I've tried to seek contact with them, I've tried to seek discourse with them, but they refuse, and I wonder if it's because they're scared. They can't, for 1 second, accept anything outside of, like, this whole Verlisify hate.
Can you give me evidence to support this? I'm not saying you're lying here, but I want to see proof. If you can, please tweet me. I'm only asking because other than your friend A-Drive, the one time I can remember other big-ish PokeTubers wanting to talk to you and open up dialogue were Hoodlum Scrafty and Duncan, but here's your response to that.
Verlis wants to talk to us and not make videos and not do this in public. We are always willing to go on Skype or Discord or whatever you use, Verlis, and talk it out, and you can talk about any problems we have with this video.
Nah, I would prefer not to because of your guys' actions. You know, you made this video. Well, actually, technically, okay. So here's the thing. I refused talking to them because of videos like their first one, whatever, the problem with the community video. That has shown, since I was able to, in my video, you know, at least make the attempt that I showed that they're lies, that I showed it's misinformation, they're taking things out of context and making it personal when they said they wouldn't. Because of that attitude, I didn't want to, there's no reason to talk to them because it's not going to accomplish anything.
It's kind of hard for me to believe you want to work with others or reconcile differences when you've shown you don't want to talk to people who call you out on things. Your response to them was akin to Riley Dennis not wanting to debate those who disagree.
You just don't have a valid viewpoint, and you're not worthy of being debated.
And at least they said they wanted to talk to you in private, willing to talk it out. Have you since reached out to them? You said in a part I skipped that you tried asking Jay Woods why he isn't talking to you anymore. Where's the evidence?
Opinions on league formats, I think they're dumb. Ginning them in is absolutely deplorable. Like, here's the thing, here's what I keep saying. There is no excuse for hacking. Don't cheat. Don't hack. Natural gameplay only. Sure, like even if you're a YouTuber does not get special privilege. You do not get special treatment just because you have a large enough fan base. You are not allowed to break the rules because more people like you. So people wouldn't watch League because it takes longer. Well, if it's your job and you're playing Pokemon for a living, you should have dedication. You should spend the 8 hours a week that it takes to breed a new team, and then use that for the league or whatever.
The problem with that is that the big PokeTubers and less players have to keep pumping out content daily to make things interesting for the viewer. They have to spend a lot of time making quality content, sometimes for multiple uploads a day. They have family and loved ones they need to spend time with. Some of them may even still have a day job. Some have multiple channels and have to upload even more quality content daily. Pokemon breeding cuts into time. And when you're pressed for time, the easiest way is hacking. No way around it. It's easier. You may think it's scummy and flat out wrong, but at the end of the day, it's up to that PokeTuber to decide how to prioritize their time daily. And when you add something like a special league series such as the GBA, the best way for them to add yet another day's worth of content making is to hack Pokemon for the league. You may disagree with it, and that in itself is fine, but what is so deplorable about putting things like a social life or ensuring quality content on YouTube in a higher priority to breeding Pokemon legitimately?
I don't only agree with VGC rules, and it's definitely not assuming that Smogon's toxic. I have proven that Smogon is toxic. I have been able to, like, their philosophy, the Smogon philosophy is literally about being elitist because you follow Smogon. That you choose to be a better battler, and that's why you're playing Smogon. Their philosophy is like that. You go to Pokemon Showdown, you go to their chat rooms, you engage with people. A Smogon player interacting with a non-Smogon player, the Smogon player becomes a bully.
Again, with my first point, when you say things like,
Pokemon Sun and Moon meant a new generation of Pokemon, and it also means more stupid Smogon bans. Like, what were they even thinking right here? Because Pheromosa has been banned from OU. When I first saw the suspect test, I thought there's no way that people think Pheromosa is actually a bannable threat in Pokemon, and then it really just proved what Smogon is. All Smogon is a dying community of kids that think they're competitive, locked inside of an echo chamber filled with buzzwords, and they have zero capability to adapt to any game. They're only good at their made-up baby coddling format.
to someone who wants to hear both sides of the argument, it almost sounds like a case of the pot calling the kettle black.
Because, again, like I just said, you have to sacrifice. Every game demands sacrifice. If you don't do it, then you don't deserve to play Pokemon. Fact.
Opinion.
What are thoughts about people that breed competitive Pokemon, make it shine with a cheating device?
Hey, that's what I do sometimes.
It's hacking. No Pokemon modifications. It's clearly in the rules. No modifying redding Pokemon at all. Doesn't matter. No hacking. Period. No excuse. No reason. No justification. Not hard to understand.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like, your opinion, man.
No, really, it kinda is. I mean, I don't compete officially. I just play on Wi-Fi. It may surprise you that I actually agree with you on the point of hacking, no matter what, should not be allowed in official competitions so long as it's a rule. That's because you can potentially win prize money or scholarships, so everyone should be on 100% equal ground when it comes to making their teams. I don't think it's right to hack in VGC unless they change the rules to allow it and give everyone the opportunity to hack the game. But I disagree when it comes to casual play on Wi-Fi. I'm not even talking battle spot, just battling random people you challenge. The average person has their own opinion and some agree with you and some don't. So don't be like the Pokemon equivalent of a Christian Puritan dude. We agree on some things and on others we disagree. It's okay. Relax.
And trust in me.
But that's all I have to say on it. Overall, I may not like how he handles things, but I'm still not a hater. If anything, I hope this video helped even a little bit on why the community thinks the way they do. Verlisify doesn't have to agree with it at all or even change his general opinion, I just ask that he thinks about it. The average player just want to be left alone and play a fun game. Oh, and please explain the whole refusing to battle a kid with cancer thing. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it's a bit of a jerk move.